Podcast. I, of course, am G Money. Here on another lovely Tuesday evening right here in the heart of Wailuku Town on the beautiful island of Maui in the great state of Hawaii. Forgive me for being late this evening with the crew. I was running behind. It was my fault. But we got some stuff to talk about because just know, as you can tell by the title, not only is NERDWatch live, we're talking about Shang-Chi, bro. So it's gonna be really cool. Anyway, let's get right to it. Let me introduce the crew. He is the producer seducer, and his boy also celebrated a birthday. And let me tell you something, he was doing quite a bit of seducing on his birthday. It was pretty amazing to watch. Ladies and gentlemen,
hey, calm down.
Say hello to Kai Kai.
I like to point out to everyone, whatever G says is usually a whole lot of lies.
No. Don't deny it.
So many lies.
You're sexy timing it on your birthday.
Lies.
Jeez Louise. Also,
you need to calm down before I come over there with slap you with a slipper.
Also joining us this evening, he is our man in black. He's also the man who does card tricks with his hands, bird tricks with his pants, and his best magic trick is disappearing from World of Warcraft. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Phormat.
Dude, what?
Yeah, what? That's your best.
On.
Disappearing. By the way, not that we need to get into this now, I played the beta of Diablo 2 Resurrected. I was not impressed. I'm very upset. Matter of fact, I was so upset that I canceled my pre-order.
Well, good for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so take that, J. Allen Brack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
take that, Activision Blizzard.
You got him.
Yeah,
well
we
done.
got
well
him.
Done,
We
sir.
got
well
him.
Done.
That's right. Yeah, take that pre-order and shove it up your keister, Mr. Kodak, whatever your name is. Oh, I'm sorry. That's your name. Your name is the devil. No, I'm just kidding.
You need to calm down.
What?
What is he on? What have you been smoking lately?
Nothing. I'm not on anything. Oh, I am on one thing. I want to send a big shout out and thank you to Phormat for, of course, hooking me up with the G Fuel. I tried today the PewDiePie. I have to tell you something. First time I've tried it, and after taking it, I still look nothing like PewDiePie. So I'm a little disappointed in that. Number one, but it tastes great.
That might be an advantage to you, really.
It tastes great. It's made of lingonberry, and for those of you that don't know, that is quite the staple berry in Europe, especially where Mr. PewDiePie lives. It was actually pretty good. Yeah. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Anyway, other than that, obviously, as you know, Alika not here. Gannon not here. Todd not here. Todd, yeah. Todd is.
I thought they were in the back room or something. You were gonna bring him out.
Todd Bernardi has been off island doing some stuff.
Is that what makes him naughty? Because he's bypassing COVID bylines and.
I hope he had a COVID test. Anyway, I will say this as well. There was last night. We had the opportunity, as the Hawaii Film Critics Society and NERDWatch,
to go camping, but instead of that, we decided to do something else.
Correct. We had the opportunity to go camping, but instead we decided to go watch the private. May I just gloat here for a minute? We watched the private screening of Shang-Chi because, of course, as you know, I know Destin. I know Destin Daniel Cretton personally. So yeah. As a matter of fact, I'll be talking to him tomorrow, and I will be probably posting it on the NERDWatch. I don't know if you guys know this, but me and Destin are we're tight, like this. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like you in a phone booth.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what he
That
said.
sounds horrible.
Yeah. So we had the opportunity to check it out. Myself, Phormat, Kai, Professor Barry, Aron, Gannon, and Alika. That's why I'm a little upset that they're not here tonight. But that's okay, because we are going to give you a breakdown of Shang-Chi. And by the way, it's Shang-Chi, not Shang-Chi, you racists. That
Technically, it's Shang-Chi.
Is it? Okay.
So, I don't know who's racist here, but whatever.
I'll put cat guys on.
Well, as you know, the review embargo is up, and we are here to spoil the heck out of it.
That?
Well, it's because all of it is up. Anyway, before I do that, though, I just want to let you guys know that you guys can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/NERDWatch, on YouTube at NERDWatch Nation, and on Twitch at NERDWatch808. Please follow us, subscribe to us, like us, touch that button, make it change to a different color, touch that thumb and make it change to a different color. I totally thought you were
going to be like, touch us.
Ron Cataguy, of course, good friend of the show. Ron Cataguy said, so how was the Asian version of Black Panther? Ron, how dare you? And how dare you for being so accurate? Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about Shang-Chi. We're going to talk about some other things that are in the news. Just really quick, too, the brand new final trailer for No Time to Die dropped. The last film that Daniel Craig will be doing as Bond, James Bond. So we can look forward to that. So that made it to social medias and the interwebs today, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Also, Kai, don't try and look up that story about Apple and Epic Games again, so that I can don't let me forget that to talk about that tonight, because that was very interesting.
I thought you had it already.
I did. It was on my phone. Just pull it up anyway. Very interesting stuff. Anyway,
interesting.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Well, I think we should. By the way, all of our social medias are at the bottom of the screen. So if you guys want to follow us on Twitter,
none of my socials are at the bottom.
Instagram, well, it's the NERDWatch's one. It's for all of us. But let's get right to it, shall we? Let's get to the nitty gritty, as they say. Let's get down to the nuts and berries. Or even better yet,
what are you doing?
The rice and noodles. We went to go see Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings. We had a private screening of Shang-Chi and the 10. What? Anyway,
rice and noodles, and now we're talking about Shang-Chi.
Jesus Christ, G. Could you not make this any more harder to do?
Well, anyway, we saw Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings at a private screening last night. And thanks to Professor Barry for making it all the way in Kihei. Appreciate it, Barry.
Yeah, well done, Barry. I mean, man, what a great theater to
well done. No, I'm just kidding. It was actually a very nice theater. It was very well done. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The staff was fantastic. I think
we should do more premieres there. I think like all of the premieres moving forward. I think we should go there.
Nice. So I don't know why you complain about. You didn't drive there.
All right. Well, that's also fair. By the way, I just want to let you know that I was not kidding when I said that tomorrow the NERDWatch will be interviewing Destin Daniel Cretton, Baldwin High School graduate, Maui boy. Right here will be on the show. I'm sorry. I'm just making sure.
Someone's excited.
Yeah. So I get to talk to him tomorrow. I'll be putting it up. It's going to be a pre-recorded segment. It's not going to be live, but it'll be a lot of fun, and I'll make sure to post that tomorrow sometime. Okay, for everybody to watch. So make sure you tell all your friends, neighbors, and such. But let's get right to it, shall we? Let's get into the Marvel debut of director Destin Daniel Cretton's Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings. As you know, Destin Daniel Cretton is very much known for his character-oriented, his character-driven movies such as Short Term 12, The Glass Castle.
Lots of family.
Yeah, and of course, his latest one was Just Mercy with Michael B. Jordan. The guy that was Black Panther, also starred Brie Larson as well. Every single movie that Destin has actually directed, Brie Larson has been in. Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. They I guess they have a very good friendship. She's trying to get on his good side, apparently. Ron wants to know no AMA for the interview. Unfortunately, no. It's highly not edited per se, but it's highly produced, as it were. It's very much in the vein of, hey, listen, this is what we're gonna do. We can only talk for like 7 or 10 minutes or whatever it is, and so yeah, don't worry. I'll put it up. It'll be a lot of fun. Anyway, let's get to the review. Now, walking in last night into Regency Theaters, and sitting down in that theater, by the way, that was the first time I've been there ever since it was completed. And I will say, beautiful theater. I will say that my only criticism is the way the seats actually are laid out. Other than that, I thought the seats were very comfortable. I thought the screen looked fantastic, and the sound was wonderful. So I just want to make sure to give a shout out to Regency for hosting us, and they did such a great job.
Surprisingly clean for a theater.
Very well. That's because obviously no one's going.
That's
anyway,
messed up, dude.
Yeah,
I was just saying they did a really great job of keeping it clean.
No one's going because no one's going like to the movies. Period.
Going.
No one's going to the movies, period. Matter of fact, there was a story that came out today saying that Shang-Chi is targeting to be the lowest money-making box office Marvel movie ever. It's looking to make over the weekend between 34 to 55 million. Right now, if you don't know, this is a little bit of a trivia for you. The movie that has scored the lowest box office weekend for a Marvel film was The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. So,
to be fair, that was a terrible movie.
Drew in the chat says Shang-Chi. That's me, Shang-Chi. Got more to say about the theater than the movie. You're right.
Don't do that.
Also, a big shout out to LaBelle32. Disney is cheating their actors, not changing my mind. Well, you know what? You may have an interesting point on there. I think we mentioned this on another show, LaBelle, that what's going to happen is that I think Black Widow is going to set a precedent, and I think moving forward, I think movie contracts for movie stars are going to change so that it's less dependent on box office, and also less dependent on box office, but more dependent on streaming services and video on demand. And I think people are going to be, I think the actors are now starting to realize that this is the wave of the future. I think that's why a lot of people are staying at home and watching these movies, not necessarily going out all the time as they used to. So you may be right that Disney may be cheating their actors for sure. I mean, Disney came at Scarlett Johansson pretty hard, to be fair. So they want to send this to arbitration. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be a little messy. But anyway, that's not the point of this. We're talking about the film, if I can say it again, Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings. Phormat.
Yeah.
Would you like to start? What were your thoughts? What stuck out to you, and what did you think? And like I said, this is all we can tell you guys this because, of course, as you know, the embargo has lifted, and we can talk all about this movie. We won't. I think it's only fair that we not spoil anything, but we just give what we thought worked and what didn't, and things like that. So we won't spoil anything, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, no spoiling. Can't do that.
All right. Well, let me do it here. I'll just do it quickly. No spoilers. Wow. Okay. So Shang-Chi was such a treat to see. As a fan of Hong Kong cinema, I was delighted by the many long takes when it came to combat, as well as the sweeping shots of the gorgeous backdrops. The special effects don't feel out of place, even for it being a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And the story is a touching coming-of-age tale of transformation and honor. The absolute legend that is Tony Leung, he makes this movie his own as soon as he arrives on the screen to greet our heroes. Um, his his presence pretty much just left me in awe, as entire lines of dialogue can be seen in his eyes alone. I mean, it is Tony Leung. You know what I mean?
Would it be a spoiler to say who Tony Leung's character is in the film? Would that be a spoiler, or no, you don't? What do you think?
I don't think so.
I
Given
don't
the
think
fact,
so, because I think in the trailers it's pretty obvious that he's Shang-Chi's dad.
What? I'm just okay. Sorry.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Also, it was nice to see Michelle Yeoh doing Michelle Yeoh things. I think the role of the wise auntie fits her well.
Yeah, I'll say that as
Um,
well. Yeah.
Simu Liu, he does an impressive job as Shang-Chi, as
Simu
does
Liu was
Ming-Er Zhang as
yeah.
Shang's sister Xi Lang.
Yeah, Shi Lang. I have to tell you something, not to interrupt you because you can keep going. I have to agree with you. I think that Simu Liu was much better than I expected. He was actually pretty well cast, and I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
He's been making doing a little bit of kerfuffling on the internet, and so there's been a negative reaction to that. But overall, though, his performance is actually pretty good.
yeah.
I was surprised. Yeah.
With that said, though, for me, the standout performance was oddly enough Aquafina. I don't know what it is about her, but every role that she's been in, I don't know. She just steals it. Like every scene that she's in this movie, especially, she steals every scene she's in.
I got to tell you
Uh,
something, and I once again I'm going to interject here because
yeah, go
Format,
for
you're
it.
making a great point. I have been I have been, for lack of a better term, swept off my feet by Aquafina. And I
Hmm.
say that as in every movie that she's been in, she's made better. And I'm not, and I'm not trying. And this is not hyperbole. I mean, her performance in Jumanji is one that sticks out to me that I really liked in the second film. I think that her performance in The Farewell, if you've never seen it before, is fantastic. Um, and this was something that I was not expecting. And I thought for when I walked in, I thought, okay, she's probably going to get super annoying super quick. And she was far from that. She was actually very charming. She was enjoyable to watch. It felt like you wanted to see them together. And
Yeah, it's to your point. Like, I mean, you've got some pretty heavy hitters here with Michelle Yeoh and Tony
yes,
Leung, and
yeah,
for her to steal the scenes, even
yes,
though they're in the scene, that's
hmm
huge. That's
yeah.
really huge.
Ron Cadiga is absolutely right. Because of the movies that she's been in, I have gone back to watch Nora from Queens, and it is pretty hilarious. She's very good in it. Super charming. I really like Aquafina. I
Hmm.
know, and I don't mean to be the downer. I know that lately she's been getting a lot of flack online for her, I guess, appropriating of Black culture lately. I haven't really seen that in the movies, and maybe I'm missing it in the show, but she's getting flack for that. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But she's really fun and she's really charming. I think a lot of people get upset even about her name because her name is Aquafina. I guess I
That's
think it's
so.
hilarious.
That's so lame. Considering like
Yeah,
it's not a black thing
no, it's
yeah,
to
not.
change
yeah.
your name like that. You know what I mean? Hackers
It's
do it all
true.
the time.
True.
Nerds do it all the time.
Yeah, that's very true. um. Oh,
Um,
Alika says it's from her pre-fame YouTube life. Oh,
yeah,
I've
she
never.
used to do she was like a hip hop kid
Yeah.
from what I
Oh,
understand. She
she
used to
liked it.
make like YouTube rap videos and stuff.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. I'll go look those up and then maybe pass judgment. Alika Alika may be also onto something. Best line of the whole movie, or yeah. That's I gotta say, we're not giving
Yeah,
anything away. That was you
for
guys for
sure.
that alone was very funny and it worked very well.
Or
Anyway, I'm
that
sorry.
is actually a very great line. Like anyone that knows what that means, like, is cracking up right now.
Yeah, I agree. So Phormat, continue with your
Okay.
review. I'm sorry.
Well, when I first heard that the film was being made, I had hoped that whoever was handling it would treat it with care and the love that it warrants. And I'm happy to see that they've come through on that. I know a lot of people in the business are kind of saying like this will do for the Asian community what Black Panther did for the Black community, and I don't know if that's necessarily true because the like there's a lot of emotional stuff that came with Black Panther that I don't think is necessarily in this. Like it is there, but you don't know what it is unless you know what to look for. Like there's a lot of Hong Kong cinema in this movie, and if you're not like a regular of Hong Kong cinema, you're not gonna
Right.
see them. And
Correct.
so it might be lost on like
Right.
the average American moviegoer. So I don't
That I
know
agree with.
if that's necessarily a strong thing, but it's definitely something to take into account when you
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah, I have to
W-
say that was what I had mentioned to you when we got out of the movie, that I think that this film feels very much geared toward the Chinese market, because
yeah, I
the
agree.
themes in the film are very much the heart of Hong Kong or Chinese cinema. I mean, some of the I don't think sometimes as an American audience will understand some of the themes that are in there.
Mhm.
Because it's about the importance of your ancestors. It's about it's about honor. It's about, and so I think some of those themes may be lost, but it is very heavily into the Chinese lore and even the Chinese fantasy in
For
some
sure.
respects. Because I will say this, you're probably going to get to it, but I mean, just the finale in and of itself, that is a move that is a Chinese cinema film. Like, it's the Monkey King. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, exactly.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of people in America have never seen The Monkey King, but for those of you that have, you understand what I'm talking about, because this movie goes there, and to be in all honesty, I think it actually does it fairly well. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Phormat.
No, no, no. You're good. You're making all the points that I'm making. Uh, but one of the things that I thought was interesting was that in the MCU, like just about everyone knows some sort of fighting technique.
Yeah,
So to have a character whose very thing is martial arts and still have them stand out from the rest is quite an accomplishment. Like you definitely know, oh, this guy knows his stuff. It's not it's not Robert Downey Jr. throwing a few slaps at a wooden dummy. This
right,
this guy's like,
right,
throwing fireballs and
right.
it's very. I think the term we were using was like it's very wushu.
It's very whoosh, absolutely. And if you know wushu cinema, guys, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with you.
Just for those of you guys in the audience that didn't know, Jackie Chan's stunt team actually helped with a lot of the choreographing and the filming of the stunt scenes and stuff. So, like, there's a lot of like little winks and nods to Hong Kong cinema in those fight scenes as well.
Did anybody get the did anybody get the Street Fighter reference, by the way, in the movie? I don't know if you noticed
Which
when
one?
they were in the arena.
No, I
And
saw it.
oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's even a nod to Street Fighter. There's a nod to some fighting games in there, which is actually kind of cool, to be fair. So I don't want to spoil it too much, but they're just look for the nod to Street Fighter. There's like a couple of scenes in there that's a very much a nod to it, and it's kind of blatant, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, good.
Well, the last thing I'll say is that it's a kung fu movie for fans of kung fu movies. You know what I mean? And I couldn't be happier. It was really good.
Very good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think, and I'll get to you here in a second, Kai. I will say that I will echo everything that you have said. with a couple of exceptions. I think that the first half of this film is much stronger than the second half. It becomes a very, at least for me, it becomes almost a very different movie in the second half. One of my complaints that I've had, or a complaint that I had in the film, and I can't expound too much on it, is the rings themselves. I will say that was probably one of the things that I had wished they had expounded on a bit more in the movie, in the middle of the movie per se. I feel that some people will find that a bit off-putting or maybe confusing as to what's going on. But what's interesting is that's very much in keeping with Chinese cinema. You know what I'm saying? Because so I mean, I can't fault it too much, but I'm watching this from an American audience perspective. So that's a very minor complaint that I have. Which
means you question everything and
correct.
Nothing's fun.
Nothing's fun. Right. So that's what you do. And you forget that. So, I have to say that overall, I think that Shang-Chi, and I think that what's interesting about it is that everything that director Destin Cretton does, he's very character driven. And it seems like that in some respects for this film, he really wanted to get the characters, push them forward. And I can see that that's a hard balance when you have something like what he likes to do and what Marvel has to do.
Right.
So, and I can see that balance that he was trying to get. And most 9 times out of 10, he was successful. There were other parts that aren't as successful. But I have to tell you something that I was really impressed with Shang-Chi in the effect of that. I was impressed at how. Number one, I got to tell you something. The fight scenes are amazing. The fight scene that everyone sees in the trailer, the one on the bus, does not do that scene justice. You need to watch that scene on the big screen because that scene is incredible. Yeah. It is incredible. And just like Phormat was saying, even though the story can be a bit convoluted, maybe a bit confusing, at least from my perspective, the martial arts is the flow is so well done. And you're right. You can tell that Jackie Chan's stunt team has their hands in it because it's beautiful. It's just like anything else, just like most kung fu movies. It's a dance. And they really...
It's a dance and it's a story within itself.
It's a story within itself. Exactly. There's an ebb and a flow to the martial arts. It does go off the rails just like, some martial arts films do, but they do take the time with the proper characters to take the time to show the beauty of martial arts and the beauty and the flow and the dare I say, the chi. You know what I'm saying? So it was very cool. LaBelle in the chat says, typically a lot of movies where they somehow include China in it, in some form does well, with the exception of the Sonic movie, as well as because of COVID. I agree, LaBelle. That's what's interesting and this is what's fascinating. I'm not to deter from Shang-Chi, but you're right in some respect because Warcraft did gangbusters in China. That movie Warcraft made so much money in China that I'm surprised we have not seen a sequel for Warcraft yet. That's how amazingly it did in China, and it didn't do very well here.
No, in fact, China I think almost tripled the box office that the American
tripled it.
Box office brought in.
Yes,
it was crazy.
And so you're right.
We're like, we've been farming gold for all these years. We might as well see what this game's
about. I don't see anybody farming gold in this movie. What the hell's going on? But I think you're right. What's interesting about Shang-Chi, though, I will say that this is something that I haven't seen before, in the effect of that this is a American production that really taps into the Chinese market and is incredibly blatant about it, and it does it. And I will say this: it is done in a very respectful way. In that respect. So congrats to the writers and to the director and the teams that worked on it.
I noticed at the end when the credits were rolling,
Mhm.
there were so many visual effects houses that were
Yes.
brought in for this. Like I
Yeah.
lost count after 7. And
Yeah.
I was just like, what?
Yeah.
But it
There were
makes
some that
sense
were from
because
China.
there's a lot of special effects that are in
Mhm.
this movie that are so seamless. Like it feels like they just fit, which
Yeah.
I thought was interesting. Like there's a lot of like mythical creatures that
Yeah, yeah.
that literally move the landscape. It's
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so well done.
It is, I was going to mention that these the beasts that you see in this film, once again, are something that I don't think American audiences, the mass of American audiences, are used to seeing, and
Yeah.
I think that that's going to be something that's going to be new for them. That's going to be that may attract them to that. And you're
But
right.
if you've seen like things like Journey to the West, you're good.
Yeah.
Don't
And
worry about it.
now
You're good.
that's also fair. I will say that it really was a film that I was surprised at how can I put this? I was surprised at, even though I had I had some story issues with it, I was surprised at how well it kind of wrapped itself up in the end. It really kind of, it's trying to balance a lot of satisfying a Chinese audience, but getting sprinkles of getting the American audience to be on board with this.
Mhm.
And I think they do it. I think they do it rather well. And this is, and I will say that I don't think this is like Black Panther at all. Black Panther, you could enjoy um, as an American audience, as an African audience. It didn't matter. Shang-Chi
Mhm.
is a little different because Shang-Chi really, really, really dips into Chinese lore. And if you know anything about that, and if you understand the themes of that, you're going to get the most out of this film. In my opinion,
Right.
in my estimation, you will get the most out of these films. And I'm not, and I'm talking about not just because you watch a Jackie Chan movie. I'm talking about if you've seen stuff with like Andy Lau and of course Jet Li and Donnie Yen and these guys who have really brought up the wushu style of martial arts in the wushu filmmaking, and they do, and they really pay homage to that. And I have to give the director and the writers credit for doing that so well, because I think there's going to be a lot of audience members that are from America. They're going to see this and go, "I've never seen this before," and
Yeah,
so, and
I agree.
yeah, and I think it's going to be, and I think that's going to be impressive. I don't know, Kai, you were there too. What was your take?
Oh dear lord, this movie was a little bit of a trip for me. There's a lot of parts I did like, but there was a whole bunch of parts that actually made me a little bit confusing.
Right.
For the parts I did like, I love the action scenes. I
Right.
saw definitely heavily of the Jackie Chan's stunt crew in it. There were so many good fight scenes, and my first two in particular were probably the first two fight scenes in the first half of the movie. But everything else kind of afterward, it kind of felt a little slow at some points in the movie where I feel like it could have been trimmed a little bit.
I
Like
agree. I agree with that.
and then there were certain parts where there was like some parts of it like there was something missing there. Like there were certain things that were brought up in the movie that I kind of wish that it was said something earlier, like how does this person know that, or how did they know that before even. Like there was a dialogue between Shang-Chi and a member of his family that I don't want to say too much spoilers, but that it was kind of like, okay, how did you know about him? Was there something we're missing? Was there something that they went back to? They ever said? There were some parts I was like, I kind of wish there was something there that could have filled it in, or just a small
Fill the
passing.
gap in. I think I know what you're talking about, and I agree. And I think that this is what I was talking about, the balance between what Destin is very good at,
Mm-hmm.
which is a character driven story, and what Marvel needs to produce on the big screen, which of course is the very action oriented, very fantasy like elements of this film. So I mean, and in this is not, and it's not a surprise. The fantasy, of course, wins out in the day because this is a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So I think you're right.
I think a lot of those things, though, that they leave up to interpretation, I think can be explained away if you think about it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
We were doing that. We were doing that in the car when we were coming home after watching the movie.
I know a lot of you guys had like a lot of questions, like why didn't this happen, and this and this and this, and I was like, well, they kind of said why, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and I was thinking about that too.
I feel are there.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it though? I mean, even with the complaints that you had.
I thoroughly enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it like Aron enjoyed it. That if anyone saw his review, but
by the way, Aron's review is up on NERDWatch. If you want to read about it, it's very well done. Aron, of course, an amazing crack writer, and his review of Shang-Chi is up. So check it out on NERDWatch. It's very good. So anyway, go ahead.
As an average moviegoer who's not like you two who are film critics, I give this a watch. This is a good movie, especially with everybody being locked down and everything like that. The need to go out into these gathering events like a theater just to watch a Marvel movie is definitely needed in this day and age.
Your vantage point, Kai, is like the most important one because your vantage point is alongside what the average moviegoer would
correct.
See. Like there's a lot of stuff that we'll see because of the position we're in, and that's why like if we try to make like assessments and stuff, like a lot of people don't agree with the things that we make. So it's very important that you get out what you got from this.
Yeah.
So that the average, the guys in the chat can be like, Kai's our dude.
Yeah.
I want to see this because Kai liked it. Like they don't care what me or G say.
Yeah, that's what you say. I will say this. Go ahead, Kai. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying because I don't have the backgrounds like you guys have who study all this.
But you don't need that.
You don't need
it. And sometimes I feel like I'm the one who's like, I'm just an average dude.
That's the point.
That's the whole. Yeah. Listen, Kai, I want you to know there's no need to be nervous.
Hey, can you stop, butting in with your high privilege level?
All I just want you to know is I want you to feel confident in your opinions and just know it's okay to be average. That's fine. I get that.
Okay, well, thank you for telling me how average I am.
No, Kai, what
you're
you don't
more relatable than any.
Correct, 100%.
Your take on a thing is more important.
Okay,
so that's why I'm saying.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so let me get this last part out.
Go ahead.
As a person who does like watching the Hong Kong fighting styles, like Police Story or all of the old Jackie Chan movies, I can say for certain that you're gonna like Shang-Chi. I liked it and I enjoyed it. So, if anything, just get out there and go watch it.
By the way, it's Shang-Chi, but that's neither here nor there.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, it's Shang-Chi. All right, stop it. I do have
explain how to pronounce it in the movie.
They explain how to pronounce it in the movie. Stop it. I do have a hot take on the Shang-Chi film though. And my hot take is this. And a lot of people may not agree with me, but I think that Disney made a mistake by not putting Shang-Chi on Disney Plus. And I will say I think that's going to cost. Number one, if the predictions are true, and this is one of the lowest performing Marvel films, or one of the lowest, or probably the lowest performing Marvel film, I think what's going to happen is that Shang-Chi should have been. Shang-Chi and this is where Bob Chapek, the guy who runs Disney, may be absolutely right about this. Shang-Chi is an experimental film in the fact that they're releasing it to theaters for 45 days, and then I believe it's free to get onto on streaming platforms, right? Mm-hmm. What's fascinating though is that the success that we're finding out is, especially from what has happened with HBO Max and Disney Plus, that is if the film does well in the movie theater, it does well on streaming. It does well on Disney Plus. It does well on it does well on HBO Max. So what I think is happening is that and once again, I think it would have helped Shang-Chi even more because Shang-Chi felt like to me a film that you would sit at home with and enjoy with your family and your kids. I will say this, I think that the Shang-Chi is more family oriented than say even Black Widow. You know what I mean? As far as subject matter, I think this is something that I think that Shang-Chi is a film that's going to wow the kids. Number one.
This will definitely wow the kids, especially the fight scenes at the end. All the CGI they use in this is going to spark some heavy imaginations for children.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly right. LaBelle in the chat says something interesting. She says, he or she, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you. I feel places like IMDb ruin people's views on critics, as again, after the failing of Birds of Prey, me and a few friends have seen how toxic some can be towards any movie that could compete against Birds of Prey, which is very true. I do have my biggest, and just so you know, my biggest criticism of Birds of Prey is that I think that it would have hit a bigger audience and it would have hit more girls if they had decided to go against the grain and do a PG-13 movie instead of an R-rated film. And I think that film would have been much better received, and I think a lot more people would have seen Birds of Prey. Because in all intents and purposes, I don't think Birds of Prey is that bad, number one. But number two, I think that the audience would have been more apt to bring their kids to go see this really fun girl kind of, and I hate to use the word girl power, but this girl empowered movie. And it's something that you could take to kids to watch at PG-13. And I think that Birds of Prey missed that opportunity trying to be more edgy in that respect. And I think this is where Shang-Chi does it right. And I think Shang-Chi did such a great job is that it does a very good balance of being a film for adults and of course for the kids. There's this clash of themes and ideas that actually kind of work out. LaBelle in the chat said, from what I saw was that Birds of Prey and Sonic were on the same boat where fans saw where it was going and wanted to make changes. Well, you can see who failed and who succeeded. Now that is also a fair statement, because I tell you what, I remember how badly Sonic was received when that trailer came out, the very first one with the very bad looking Sonic.
Teeth?
Yeah, the one with the teeth.
That gave me nightmares.
But to be fair, LaBelle, what's interesting about that is that I don't know what it would have been like with the older CGI Sonic. The new Sonic that we got right before COVID hit was a film that was fantastic. It was so much fun. The story was there was something good about that. That was one of the very rare movies that's based on a video game that was actually great to watch.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. It stayed true to the Sonic character in spirit, not so much in story. But I mean, let's put it this way. Whatever changes were made from Paramount for Sonic, not only catapulted it to be the biggest movie of 2020, which is not a big feat, I guess, but it's the biggest movie of 2020. It outperformed any Marvel movie in 2020. Oh wait, there was no Marvel movie in 2020. But it was the biggest property movie of that year. But whatever changes they made, the audiences loved it, and because of that, there's going to be a sequel. And the sequel is going to be big because Knuckles is going to be in it. Idris Elba is going to be the voice of Knuckles. So this is going to be, I think that was a smart move, even though it cost them another year. It was a smart move to fix Sonic, take into consideration what people that know the character know about him and how he looks and how he's supposed to look. And they really did that. LaBelle also said it hit home, and I watched the Sonic movie 5 times. The first time to see it, the next 4 times to find all the Easter eggs. I say that as far as success, I will say that Sonic, it was definitely more successful in 2020 than Birds of Prey. But I will say that ultimately, I think Birds of Prey was a bit over criticized in some respects.
I would agree.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, even though I had issues with it, I think people kind of wanted to not like it, which is, I guess it's just your prerogative, I guess. But I think I once again I watch Birds of Prey at home on the small screen, and I will say this: Birds of Prey plays much better at home than it did in the movie theater for me. So I think Shang-Chi is, and I think that this is where Shang-Chi would have done better if it did a dual release in theaters and at home. I think that the Disney Plus should have been the case. I think that the success of Black Widow and Jungle Cruise should have told them that. But I'm assuming that Disney contractually had some obligation to Shang-Chi, and that's why they didn't release it that way, I guess, maybe. The way, and Phormat and I talk about this a lot, and that is that movie theaters, well, I don't think, in my estimation, movie theaters will never be the same. I don't think people want.
I don't think they can move forward with the same.
Correct.
The same, the way they're operating currently.
Right.
I think they need to change it up. Maybe make it an event again.
Correct.
Where people used to dress up to go to the theaters.
Absolutely. And I think and I think ultimately that is what I think is going to do in the theater. It's no longer about watching the movies in the theaters. It's about the experience of going to the theater.
Exactly.
So, and I think that ultimately, unless the movie companies are willing, the movie companies and the theater companies themselves are willing to make that change and realize that it's not all about how many screens that you have at your theater, but it's all about the experience. I think that that may change, but I still, I mean, not to get too off track, I still think that the outlook is still not good for movie theaters. That's in my estimation. I don't think the outlook for movie theaters is still, I think it's still in doubt. And I agree. And I don't think Shang-Chi is going to change that. No disrespect to Shang-Chi in any way, shape, or form. I don't think No Time to Die coming out in October is going to change that. And sadly for me,
I don't think I really feel like I feel sorry for these movies because they don't deserve the, you know what I mean? Like what's happening right now.
Yes.
When it comes to theaters.
Right.
Like these are really great movies that are coming out, and
yes,
they're not getting the audience that they once would have, pre-COVID.
The one I'm saddest about the most is the one that's coming out in November, and that's Ghostbusters Afterlife. That's the one that I'm saddest about the most because I don't know if anybody is willing to go to the movies and spend 2 hours in the movie theater when they already sit at home for the last year and a half watching movies, and if that's really up their alley anymore. You know what I mean? I'll just wait for it to come out in like 45 days on streaming. So, and that's what's sad. Like that, and I think that this, obviously, hating getting back into the COVID thing, I just think that this is what's really changing the landscape of the market when it comes to movies and movie theaters. And it's really unfortunate that it's happening. But I think that people want experiences other than going out to the movies when they go out now, considering what COVID has done. They want to do other things.
It's a quality over quantity thing.
Correct.
They want it dialed back, and they want it to be,
I agree. I completely agree.
An event.
And I agree. And let me tell you something. I will say this about Shang-Chi, getting back to the point of this conversation. I will say that by the time Shang-Chi wraps up, for me, that did feel like an event movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that that's going to be the outlook when it releases on the 3rd.
Yeah, I think they'll do great opening numbers, and then just
once
like
again,
every other movie, next
80%
week it'll drop.
80%. It seems to always do that. So
which is unfortunate because it doesn't deserve that.
No,
really, it's a great,
absolutely not.
Movie.
And I think that I think what's going to benefit Shang-Chi is the shorter times between movie theater and streaming, and I think Shang-Chi will see second life. We're talking like it's dead because it's not. I mean, here's something where I think it's. I hope I'm completely wrong about, but I think Shang-Chi is going to see a second life when it hits streaming, because Shang-Chi is that kind of movie. For me, it's the kind of movie that I want to pause, rewind, and watch that, see that again. If you catch my drift, like I would have wanted to rewind the bus fight. Period. I would have watched that again, like no problem. That would have been awesome. So, getting to our final reviews of Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, we'll probably do a spoiler review probably next week once it's out. Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings for me, I really enjoyed it. I will say that Aron, if you read his review, not to give away any spoilers in his review, but he says that is in his top 3 Marvel movies of all time. Iron Man, Black Panther, and Shang-Chi is a close third. I would say that Shang-Chi is probably...
Yeah, but Aron can only count to 3, so
that's also a good point.
I mean, have you seen how many books he read?
Yeah, it's true. He may have read more now. Hey, don't put him on blast. He
might have read a He might have read a third one.
Like a third book. Yeah, he might have read a
Maybe
third book.
4.
Stop it. Yeah. I will say that I think that Shang-Chi goes into my top 5 Marvel movies. I think what Shang-Chi does, and this is what's great about seeing Shang-Chi at the movie theater, or excuse me, seeing Shang-Chi done by Marvel. It's because I don't think Shang-Chi would exist and the Guardians of the Galaxy would have existed if Disney had the rights to the X-Men and to the Fantastic Four. I don't think that these movies would have been even remotely on the docket. And I think Shang-Chi lands in that category. I think we're lucky that we got a movie about Shang-Chi, because let's be honest, Shang-Chi is not necessarily an A-list comic book character. And that's no disrespect to Shang-Chi. That's just how that's who he is, right? He's like he's a B character, or
he's
sometimes
a street level character.
He's a street level character. Correct.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I think we're elevating Shang-Chi to an A+ player, and I think that the movie did well enough to portray him as an A+ player, cinematically wise. And I think Simu Liu was great. I wouldn't mind seeing him again, and I thought Awkwafina once again did fantastic. I will say you're right about Michelle Yeoh. It's always wonderful to see Michelle Yeoh when she's on screen. She's fantastic. So in my estimation, I would say at the time when I got out of the movie theater, I was looking at 3 stars out of 5. But I have to say that I'm bumping that up. I think it's a 4-star movie out of 5. So I really enjoyed Shang-Chi. We'll get into the intricacies once it's already been released and out. But Kai, what would you give it? What'd you think?
Well, I'll probably give the same thing, 4 stars. 4
stars. And Phormat, you seem to love it more than even the both of us. So what do you think?
I'd come in at a solid 4.
4 stars.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I would lean more towards a 5, but I don't do like halves and half stars and whatever. Like, commit, man.
Commit, baby.
Commit. So
Joel has a question.
Was it perfect? No.
So
yeah, I'll say comfortable at a 4.
I think Joel, I think that's a good comparison. When Phormat said street level characters, yes, like Daredevil, like Power Man, and Iron Fist. Yes,
Iron Fist.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I will say that Shang-Chi, I think, will do well in the Marvel universe. I can't wait to see Shang-Chi interact with other people in that universe. Let's put it that way. And
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like with the there's a part in the Avengers where Tony is walking past a wooden dummy and he does a couple like slap routines to the dummy, and it's like that versus the martial arts that Shang-Chi is gonna bring. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a completely different level. He's gonna get blown out of the water.
Yeah. I'm almost sad that Tony Stark will not be able to interact with Shang-Chi and Awkwafina. You understand?
You never know, man.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
The multiverse.
We might get a multiverse version of Tony.
True. That's true. Anyway, from the Nerd Watch, we say it would highly recommended. If you can, go check it out. comes out September 3rd in theaters only. Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings. And just a really quick aside, can I say that I really liked the soundtrack for the movie? I actually thought that some of the tracks I really dug. I really dug the end credits track. I thought that was great. I don't know who did that. I got to find out who did that. I got to go look that up. Some of the hip hop tracks are sick. So I'm going to go look those up. I thought they were actually pretty good. So not that anybody really cares. A lot of
Hotel California, though.
Yeah. You'll get that joke when you watch the film. Speaking of... you won't. Phormat. Speaking of multiverses, that was a great segue because once again, last week we got a brand new episode of What If, and we're getting another new one tonight. Aron chiming in from the bleachers. It's Anderson .Paak, Fire in the Sky. That's the name, the song on the end credits.
Yeah, it is.
Aron, you're the man. And by the way, I love your new Facebook profile pic. It's pretty cute.
You know what's odd is because most of these movies end in a sky beam, so for the final music to be called "Fire in the Sky" is very apropos.
Very apropos. So like I said, you segued into multiverses.
Right.
New episode of What If. What was this week's What If, sir?
This was the Whodunit episode.
Oh, the one about what if the Avengers didn't exist or were getting killed?
What? Like they just started dying off left and right?
Right. Mm-hmm. So far, you have been very high on this program.
Very high. Okay.
Yeah. You do the same thing Nick Fury does.
Alika's role, sir.
You roll it up and you smoke it.
Sure.
Yeah. No. You've been very high on this series. How about this week? How was the show?
It's great.
Or this past week, excuse me.
It's great. I really enjoy the What If series. Like even going back to comics, just because of like how much of a divergent timeline or storyline we get out of these just from one simple change. You know what I mean? This episode of What If was so out there. It's so funny because like they totally give you the answer at the beginning, and you're just like it just right over your head, and you're just like, okay, whatever. Oh my God, Tony's dead. What's going on? I don't understand anything that's going on. And then they're trying to piece these things together, and Nick Fury is like sending Natasha to go undercover to do she's trying to figure it out, and then you got the Asgardians coming to take over. Like they're there because something happens to Thor, and they're like they want retribution.
Yeah,
and then it ends, and you're just like, wow, I didn't see that coming. But like on a second rewatch, like I realized, oh, they totally give you all the clues from the get go as to who who the butler is.
Yeah. I have to ask you a question, Phormat. Now you talk about how cool the stories are in the What If series on Disney Plus. What do you think of the animation?
I like it.
Is it me or does it seem a little stiff?
No, I think you're right, but I think that's kind of the charm of it. You know what I mean?
Okay, gotcha.
Like they're not looking to do like huge studio. You know what I mean? Like it's not Raya. Like the animation isn't. I don't think it's necessarily meant to be fluid.
Correct. It doesn't rise to that level.
Right.
That's
exactly.
That's fair. Okay, I see what you're saying.
If anything, I feel like some of the color palette that they're using is a bit muted, but I don't know if that's on purpose because these aren't necessarily like in universe stories, right? So maybe that's why they're not all bright and colorful all the time.
Right. So this week, what are we getting this week, sir? What's this week's episode?
I didn't look, so I don't know.
I
All right, it's
believe
gonna be a
it's a
surprise
It's
for
gonna
all
be
of
a
us.
surprise, yeah.
Doctor
Oh,
Strange.
is this a Doctor Strange one? Oh, nice.
Nice. Well, listen, I do want to share something with you since we're talking about Marvel, and something I should have brought up after Shang-Chi, but I wanted to know about What If first. But here's a very interesting report. According to a recent report from Variety, you guys comment on this if you'd like. Big budget American movies are being squeezed out of China due to the population of the Asian communist country growing tired of Hollywood's incessant, get this, pandering. According to data provided to the trade news outlet by the Artisan Gateway Consultancy, only 2 North American films have managed to make it into China's top 15 rankings, and that is F9, The Fast Saga, and Godzilla vs. Kong. What's more, report author Patrick Frater indicates that, quote, Hollywood's share of the China box office market in 2021 has collapsed to a shocking 9.5% as, quote, in the first 8 months of 2021, Hollywood titles have been chart toppers on just 8 occasions, driven by an aging Fast and the Furious franchise and over 2 weeks by a re-released Avatar. These American chart appearances include a 3-week stint at number 1 for F9, 2 weeks at number 1 for the 2021 re-release of Avatar. That's crazy. And 1 week apiece each of Godzilla vs. Kong, Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway, and Free Guy.
I thought Luca was part of that listing too.
Well, hang on. Let me finish the story, bro. COVID aside, this year would have been a difficult time for for import films in Hollywood in particular, explained Artisan Gateway Chief Executive Officer Rance Powell. The Chinese films that have been popular have become very popular and on top by quite some distance. What is perhaps even more interesting is the fact that the 20th of August theatrical debut of Disney Pixar's Luca was the first significant American film to see a release in China cinemas since May 28th, A Quiet Place Part 2. Wow, that's crazy. Frater further reports that Disney Marvel titles haven't been released in China since, get this, Avengers Endgame in April of 2019. In fact, he continues, Black Widow still remains without a release permit in China, adding fuel to recent speculation that both Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings and The Eternals have been banned in China, a move which would potentially deal a pretty big blow to the House of Mouse. This particular speculation was first sparked when a few months back, the CCTV6 China movie channel aired a list of upcoming release dates for various Hollywood-produced films, which completely omitted listings for both Marvel's upcoming tentpole films. Another reason why The Eternals may be at risk of being banned in China has to do with director Chloe Zhao, as she's made some less than favorable comments about communist China almost a decade ago. In an interview with Filmmaker Magazine, Zhao stated, quote, it goes back to when I was a teenager in China, being in a place where there are lies everywhere, unquote. She said, you felt like you were never going to be able to get out, the director elaborated. A lot of info I received when I was younger was not true, and I became very rebellious toward my family and my background. I went to England suddenly and relearned my history. She further asserted studying political science in a liberal arts college was a way for me to figure out what is real. Arm yourself with information and then challenge that too. So, noting that the Eternals may have received the axe in China due to Zhao having been branded a traitor of her past comments, Frater posited that Shang-Chi was similarly banned due to Chinese concerns that the films will present a racist and stereotypical depiction of Asian cultures. So, that's actually kind of a big deal. And if that is even remotely true,
I wonder how they feel about just like the old like Shaw Brothers stuff. You know what I mean? Like
oh, I love Shaw Brothers stuff.
How do they feel about stuff like that? Like, do they feel like it's oh, these guys are making fun of our culture, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially the comedy stuff the Shaw Brothers used to do. I agree.
Right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I love the Shaw Brothers stuff. I will say that I do like the more serious, the more serious oriented stories of Shaw Brothers. I think that some of the Chinese comedies are even for me a bit wacky. But that's just me. By the way, just a real quick aside, get this. Freighter, the guy who did the report, also notes that films that could face similar issues include the recently released Space Jam: A New Legacy, because American basketball continues to be a sensitive subject following NBA officials' 2019 comments on Hong Kong, as well as the upcoming sequel to Tony Scott's cult classic Top Gun Maverick, due to how it could be seen as promoting the U.S. military. So, yeah.
Top Gun. No time to gun.
Yeah, no time to gun. So this is now that I've seen this, and if this report is anywhere near true, now I know why they produced Shang-Chi the way they did. It seems like more of a political move than anything else, because I saw nothing in this movie that was even remotely criticized the Chinese government or the Chinese people. I thought it very much it did quite an interesting job of highlighting them, putting them on a pedestal. Is that just me, guys, or what did you think? Did you think the same thing?
No, I think so. Like, I thought it was very China friendly, if that's even a term.
It's China friendly. So just make sure you make that distinction.
Right.
Speaking of Asian, this will be a good one. As you may know, the first shots of Cowboy Bebop's live action series were shown on the interwebs just a couple of days ago.
Oh,
well, one of the actresses in the film, who plays Faye Elliott, her name is Danielle Pineda, was targeted. I don't want to say targeted because that's not what happened. There was a lot of criticism about what she was wearing because it wasn't very true to the character in the anime. Well, it got heated, and she had to take down her post of what she said on Twitter. Well, Netflix recently responded to the backlash against Cowboy Bebop and actress Daniela Pineda, who plays Faye Valentine in the upcoming live-action series, by sharing 2 photos of Pineda. The backlash against Netflix's live-action Cowboy Bebop series began when Netflix released a first look at the series, and critics decried the series' muted color palette, the inaccurate Faye Valentine costume, and the race-swapped jet black.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Did they want her seriously, like walking around in a PVC top?
Well, I will say, let me finish this by saying YouTuber Vera Dark expressed her opinion, saying Netflix has finally released photos of characters and they look rough. She further added, quote, "Judging by the photos, these characters look bad. Specifically to Faye," Vera Dark states, "she looks awful. These changes look so incredibly bad. These are like CW designs, at least in my opinion. She looks nothing like the previous version of her character. We don't have the vibrant yellows, the vibrant reds, the haircut. There are cosplayers that can create more accurate costumes than the designers that Netflix has, because this looks like garbage," quote unquote.
You can't bring cosplay into this. There are yes, they are accurate, because that's kind of the medium, right?
Yeah,
They're supposed to be accurate to the character. Yeah. But these are new creations. Like this whole Netflix thing is a new thing. This is
See,
half of those guys that are very accurate in the cosplay, they can't move.
No, it's true.
You can't act in what they're wearing.
Is it? Would it? Well, here's the thing. Actress Danielle Pineda would respond to the backlash in an Instagram story, not a Twitter post. An Instagram story where she appears to deride Cowboy Bebop fans. She says, quote, "Hey guys, as you know, our Cowboy Bebop first look dropped today, which was so exciting. And I just wanted to address a couple of things that keep coming up in the comments amongst fans," quote unquote. This is from Danielle. She then proceeded to sarcastically deride critics of the first look, saying, "First, I wanted to apologize to the fans that I did not anatomically match the Faye Valentine character. 6 foot,
Faye is
double
very,
D size
very,
breasts.
very top heavy.
Yeah, a 2-inch waist. You know, they looked everywhere for that woman and they couldn't find her. It was kind of weird. So they just went with my short ass, quote unquote. And she says, quote, I know, am I right? She was being sarcastic. There was talk about like, can we put Daniela in a time machine and maybe give her different parents so she has different genetic information to sort of make her look better? It proved to be too complicated, Pineda added. Pineda then addressed the criticism of the outfit, which we were just talking about, Phormat. The other thing I wanted to bring up was I wanted to apologize that the outfit I'm wearing is not exactly what she wears in the anime. She continued, you know, we tried, but doing stunts in tissue paper, things disappear, they rip, sometimes it just got lost. Pineda then claimed, quote, anyway, like I was saying, that original costume, they made a couple of them, but I said they sort of got slurped up in my various crevices, never to be retrieved again. So we really needed to build something that could withstand the test of time. So I will say this.
I like her.
And this is a criticism that maybe you can help me. Is it wrong that Danielle Pineda is playing an Asian character?
No.
The thing is she a good enough actor? Does she kind of like look like the character?
There's nothing in the anime that says she's Asian.
Actually, she is. She's from Singapore.
Okay, if that is the case,
Singaporean.
Yeah, but there's white dudes in West Africa, dude.
Now, with that in mind, if you guys are correct about your assessments, would that mean that the quote unquote whitewashing the whitewashing of what Scarlett Johansson did in Ghost in the Shell was a bit overblown? Because they never say that she's white.
It was overblown.
I said so from the get-go.
Yeah. Okay. Just checking. So I think that this does. Okay, we're at this place where it's hard to even like talk about stuff you don't like anymore because people take it so damn personal. I think everybody needs to just freaking relax. I think these production companies need to know that there are going to be fans that are not going to be happy, and that's okay. I think it's better that the actors and the actresses and the production teams don't respond to it and just put out a good show. That's it. Don't respond to people. I mean, the obsession with responding to people online is what is the problem. Just make the show and call it a day. If you think it's good, and it works, that's great. A matter of fact, Kai was telling me he was reading a story about the creator of Cowboy Bebop and how that Netflix didn't want to take any of his notes. So he said, do whatever you want with it. So with that in mind, I think sometimes we as fans get more precious about it than even the creators. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so, and regardless of whether we like it or we don't, money talks. So they paid him for the right to use it, and they have the right to change it. And so now we can be the ultimate judge to whether or not we enjoy it.
Like super fans are super fans, and right. I get it, but you can't gatekeep. That's not how this works.
And now Phormat, that brings up another interesting point. And here's, I was thinking about this over the weekend. Remember, and maybe you can understand this, maybe you guys can understand this. As fans, we take ownership of some of these properties. Star Wars, Star Trek, for me, Ghostbusters, Cowboy Bebop, whatever weird tentacle porn that Kai watches. Anyway.
Whoa. What are you insinuating right there?
That's hentai, right? Or whatever?
But why you assume? Why are you labeling me with tentacles?
Just
go with it.
Just roll with it.
Just roll with it. So
I hate you.
What I'm saying is that, and this is me being on the negative side of the spectrum on this.
Mm-hmm. You're very negative.
How we take, we take the ownership of these properties, right?
Yeah.
What if these studios are changing these things in order for us not to take ownership over these properties anymore? As in, not to be so precious about it. What if they're doing this purposefully so that we don't take ownership over this stuff anymore, so they can do whatever they want with it without the backlash. What if this is maybe the Star Wars trilogy was the test of this, to do whatever they wanted with it? Because, you know, we always talk about a lot, you know, in society itself, a lot of people don't like to own things anymore. A lot of physically, you know, there's a lot of things they don't, especially with the COVID thing and things like that. When we take ownership of something like Star Wars, right? Maybe the studios don't want us to do that anymore because they want to do other things with those properties. Number one, I do think that they're lazy, because I think they don't want to tell their original stories, because Star Wars is what'll make them money, right? Mm-hmm. So right. My thing is that maybe they don't want us as fans. Maybe they want us to turn our backs on it and say, do whatever you want with it, and we don't, and we're not going to care anymore. Am I wrong about this?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, you might be right. I just feel that, you know what I mean? Like, when things, like, when it's the future, you know, the future, like, okay, so I'm thinking in terms of like where we are now.
Right.
And the creator of, let's say, Huckleberry Finn, right?
You mean the man who wrote Mark it? The great Mark Twain, who wrote that, yes.
Every iteration of Huckleberry Finn that's come out has not been exact to the book.
True.
So
true.
You think this dude is like, no, you did it wrong. I mean, it just seems really silly to me.
Well, I mean, I think the success, and once again, this is where I say money talks, is that the reason why we're getting Ghostbusters Afterlife is because of the response that the audience has had to the Ghostbusters of 2016, right? So instead of fans, and listen, we do these things because, you know, we do this show because it gives us an outlet to complain and to rejoice over certain things in our nerd community, right, that we want to talk about. But ultimately, what matters is not what we say, but what we put our money into. So if we, and you know, call it consuming or what have you, if Star Wars ain't gonna be making any money, then they ain't gonna be producing any more movies. And that is evident from the fact that we had like 2 or 3 other movies lined up after Solo came out. Solo lost money, and we never got to see that Boba Fett movie or any other movie in that respect where it's going to focus on one character. So they stopped that. So because the money was not in it, and they had to finish the Star Wars trilogy, the new sequel trilogy. So
to that point though, they had 1 million storylines that they could have went through if they kept the extended universe a thing. And they said nope.
Yeah.
And now they're borrowing from the extended universe.
Yeah.
You know, Thrawn's back. You know what I mean? It's like, why did you guys do this in the first place?
Correct.
Yeah,
and I will say,
you guys are only going to go back to the well anyway.
Correct. And I will say that I understand that in some respect, because, you know, it's one of those things where, and this is where I think that a lot of the times Hollywood, and I don't mean, and it's a blanket statement, obviously, but Hollywood is bereft of ideas. And so they want to take properties that are going to make them money. And guess what? Star Wars and Ghostbusters and all these property names, regardless of how you feel about them, probably make money. Mm-hmm. Right? So, and once again,
what I'm saying is, like, there's a lot of people that are precious about the extended universe.
Yes.
But now that Admiral Thrawn is going to be in continuity, it's like, this isn't the old stuff. This is new stuff. So how right. Are you precious
legends
about it now?
Right, it's legend. And I will say that I think that was one of the biggest mistakes Disney did when they bought Star Wars and decided to say that the extended universe is not canon and this is just Legends. I think that was the biggest mistake that they made from the get-go. And I think that really turned off a lot of people.
It did.
And ultimately, that goes for getting back to our point. This goes back to Cowboy Bebop. I don't think and you know what? And they do understand it, but I don't think they care. Cowboy Bebop has quite the following. First of all, Cowboy Bebop was a tremendous anime like no one had ever seen it for its time. You can still go back to that anime and be wowed by it. That's how good it is. I don't think, and like I said, we always run the risk of when Hollywood or Netflix or whoever gets these properties, that obviously they're not going to be done right. So I am going to stick to my guns and say, vote with your wallet. If it ain't good and you don't think it's going to be good, don't spend your money on it. And I think that ultimately, and we're learning this firsthand from the gaming industry right now. And I don't mean to shift, but what's happening to World of Warcraft right now is a perfect example of how when you stop spending money on something, all of a sudden things start to change. So, and I'm sure Phormat knows this. As soon as they started bleeding subscribers to World of Warcraft, all of a sudden the changes that everybody wanted are now going to be in the next patch. So, it's interesting how that works. So once again, I will say this: is when it comes to movies and or games, your dollar is the one that speaks the loudest.
Vote
not your voice.
Yeah.
Vote with your wallet. And Phormat, I don't know if Phormat was aware of that, but you should look up what's coming up in the next patch.
I've seen. And a lot of this stuff they promised us
years ago
at release.
Yes.
And we were like, sweet. When are we getting it? And they're like, oh, it's in the works.
It's coming.
It's
coming.
Just hold on to your seats. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
And one patch came, and then 2 patches came, 3 patches, 4 patches, nothing. Completely nothing. We were waiting for new content forever, and they're like, oh, it's coming, guys. Don't you worry. It's gonna be amazing once it gets there. And we waited and waited, and nothing happened. And now they're bleeding subscribers, and now they're scrambling to try to right the ship. And it's too late, boys. It's too late.
Way too late. And this is why I say, boys and girls, as you get older, and even though you are very connected to these properties that you love so much, do all of your talking with the money that you don't spend on it. And that is where you will see the most traction, because they don't care about you. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care about any of that crap. All they care about is the green that they're going to make with the property that they assume you are precious about.
They're only worried about taking care of shareholders. That's it.
Correct. Absolutely. 100%. And it is, and and listen, to be fair, I'm not faulting anybody for that. Taking care of the shareholders, they're the ones that put up the money. I understand that.
Right.
I get that. But ultimately, shareholders will also need to understand that as the consumers, they're the ones that are giving you the dollars that fill your pockets. So if you don't satisfy them, they're going to speak loudly by not supporting you.
Yep.
So
the evidence is clear. I mean,
evidence is clear. I mean,
good luck.
we've got
better luck next time, boys.
Better luck
See
next
you
time.
in Warcraft 2.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Phormat's not the only one. I've been watching some videos on some guys who are heavily into Warcraft, and were pissed because all of a sudden, now that they're bleeding subscribers, they're more than happy to make these changes for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and all those Warcraft players ain't buying it. So yeah, so they said, "Screw you."
I really feel I feel for the content creators that are like WoW specific, because their bread and butter is linked to this game that
Yeah.
everybody is leaving.
Yeah.
So it's like, sorry, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry, but
Yeah. This is
touching people.
This is on Blizz, man. This is on. I shouldn't even say Blizz. It's Activision Blizzard. So
Yeah.
this is on them for sure. Anyway, right before we get off of entertainment news, it looks like there's one more criticism that's being laid at the feet of Disney. Legendary puppeteer Frank Oz, known for his work as Yoda, Fozzie Bear, Miss Piggy, Sam Eagle, Animal, and more blasted Disney's handling of the Muppets. Oz spoke with The Guardian where he detailed that the selling of the Muppets was what killed Jim Henson. Henson, the creator of the Muppets, died in 1990 of streptococcal toxic shock syndrome when he was 53. At the time of his death, he was in negotiations with Disney and its then CEO, Michael Eisner, to sell the Muppets. Oz explained, quote, "The Disney deal is probably what killed Jim. It made him sick. Eisner was trying to get Sesame Street 2, which Jim wouldn't allow. But Jim was not a dealer. He was an artist, and it was destroying him. It really was." Not only did Oz claim that the Disney deal killed Jim Henson, but he also notes there is a definite difference between the Jim Henson Muppets and the Disney Muppets. He said, "There's an inability for corporate America to understand the value of something they bought." This is what I'm just talking about, right? They never understood with us. It's not just about the puppets. It's about the performers who love each other and have worked together for many years. Oz would then go on to reveal that Disney doesn't want him to do the Muppets. He stated, "I'd love to do the Muppets again, but Disney doesn't want me. And Sesame Street hasn't asked me for 10 years. They don't want me because I won't follow orders and I won't do the kind of Muppets they believe in." Quote unquote. In fact, The Guardian's Hadley Freeman notes that Oz can't bear to watch the Muppets or Sesame Street today. Oz told her, quote, "The soul's not there. The soul is what makes things grow and be funny, but I miss them and love them." So it's interesting that Frank Oz...
To his point, have you watched like a current episode of like
Sesame Street?
Good.
It's not good at all.
It's not great.
He's absolutely right. It is not good. And the love for the craft is not there either. And he's absolutely right. 100%. Frank Oz, number one, in my opinion, is, that guy's, when he's doing his work, he's a genius. Frank Oz is also a very, very good director. He did a movie with Disney decades ago that I still to this day think is one of the funniest movies ever made. He's the guy who directed What About Bob? And Frank Oz is a very talented director. He's a very talented artist. And I appreciate his work. And I think he is absolutely right about the Muppets. I've had no desire to see the Disney Muppets. I've had no desire to see Sesame Street. The characters aren't there anymore. The love for the love and the connection is no longer there. It is very corporate, and I completely understand that. So good on you, Frank, for expressing that. Good luck finding a job in Hollywood. So I hope you have
vote with your wallet.
Vote with your wallet, damn it.
Vote with your wallet, Frank.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly right. Listen, have we seen anything the likes of the Dark Crystal recently? Anything with that imagination?
Oh, recently?
Anything
no.
Anything like Labyrinth? No. Like Jim Henson's Labyrinth? Anything like Jim Henson's...
The closest thing we got was Yo Gabba Gabba.
Jim Henson's, and Daniel Plagle knows about this because he plays with puppets.
Yeah, but the way he does it is questionable. I mean,
hey, really... stop it. He's great.
I mean, if you did that like in the Midwest, you probably get arrested. Really.
Stop it. Yeah. I will say this. It is fascinating to me that we haven't seen, and this is once again, this is the brilliance of what Frank Oz is saying. We haven't seen the greatness of a show like Jim Henson's Storytellers in decades. Remember how good those were?
What are you talking about, man? The Wiggles?
Stop
Australia's own? The Wiggles?
Stop it. You're
Fruit
killing
salad?
me.
Yummy, yummy.
Oh, you're killing me. Anyway, I had a couple. I had a couple more. No
one in
no.
the chat. No F's in the chat for
No,
the
no F's in the
Wiggles?
chat for that.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Anyway,
Know my audience, I guess.
I send you an article, G.
Well, I just wanted to let everyone know too that there was something I was going to go over a couple other things. Apparently, He-Man's masculinity is in question in Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe. There's a guy who got into a little hot water talking about that. But I'm gonna go ahead and skip that.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and skip that.
I don't know what it is, man, but people are like complaining about the weirdest shit. Sorry.
That's okay.
I don't mean to S-bomb there, but it's it's so frustrating to read the headlines nowadays, and it's just blah.
Well, you'll love this format because we're venturing into gaming territory. Activision Blizzard, who we just talked about earlier, will rename.
My heroes.
Yeah, will rename various locations and NPCs featured in World of Warcraft following their decision to rename popular Overwatch gunslinger Jesse McCree.
Yep.
McCree was recently let go from the company after appearing in a photograph in what is alleged to be the Cosby Suite. The Cosby Suite was.
I wonder what they're gonna rename him as, because they're gonna know what I mean. Like they can't call him McCree. They can't. Is it gonna be Cowboy McGun?
Well, let me see what the story says. According to this, the Cosby Suite was referenced in a sexual harassment lawsuit against the company filed by the state of California. In the lawsuit, they explained that senior creative director of World of Warcraft at Blizzard Entertainment, Alex Frisiabi, was known to engage in harassment of females. That his suite was nicknamed the Cosby Suite after her alleged rapist, Bill Cosby. The Washington Post, Nathan Grayson. By the way, I don't think that that's the case. Anyway, I think we've kind of debunked that, haven't we? The Washington Post, Nathan Grayson, revealed that Blizzard employees informed him that 5 character names and 1 city name that are in reference to McCree will also be renamed. Not only will names referencing McCree be changed, but Grayson also reported that names referencing former Diablo 4 director Luis Barriga and World of Warcraft designer Jonathan LaCraft will also be removed. A Blizzard spokesman confirmed that the developer would be taking steps to remove these references. Quote, "We can confirm that those references in World of Warcraft will be removed," the spokesman told Grayson. As noted above, these changes are being made following the state of California filing a sexual harassment lawsuit. Specifically, after the state of California made its lawsuit public, like we said, the photograph was published, and that was what got them in hot water. Following the outlet's publication of the image, Kotaku reported that both McCree and LaCraft were let go from the company, with Activision Blizzard spokesperson confirming in a later update that Barriaga had been terminated as well. Interestingly, in response to a Twitter user who asked whether or not Macari would be renamed, former World of Warcraft content designer Jennifer Classing divulged that when Blizzard began development of the Capital City's Quest content in 2015, she directed the game's voice actors to pronounce the city differently in order to curve the lore away from such a blatant reference to the now former employee. Yeah, I asked all of our VO for the zone to pronounce it Macari, wrote Classing on Twitter, because it was kind of silly that the capital city of Argus was named after that dev. So, yeah. We're going to see more people, more names in these lores be changed. I'm curious. Is there one that sticks out for you, Phormat, that you remember that they're definitely going to have to change?
Just the Jesse McCree, really. That's like the most blatant thing they're going to have to change. Yeah. So I'm curious what they would change it to, because he's such a fan-beloved character. Like Cowboy McShooty Shooty.
Yeah, Cowboy McShooty. Daniel, by the way, finally responded. Dang, Phormat. Also, in the news, speaking of games, a lot of backlash on this one. Volition development director Jim Boone has confirmed that the upcoming Saints Row entry is being developed and written with modern sensibilities in mind.
No.
Boone's comments came after Volition released their first trailer for the upcoming Saints Row game that has been widely panned by longtime fans of the franchise for eschewing its over-the-top tone and humor. Boone explained the game's new tonal direction shortly after the Saints Row trailer debuted on August 25th, telling PC Gamer writer Morgan Park that though the studio loved the previous entries in the series, they also recognize those are games of a time, quote unquote. They made sense within that era, and we were able to do things that felt good back then, quote unquote, Park continued. But that tone is not something that we feel like we want to do today. We had a different kind of story that we wanted to tell. In a separate interview with Eurogamer, Boone further confirmed that the reboot would scale back the series' wackiness, telling the site's deputy editor Martin Robinson, quote, by the time you were done in Saints Row 4, and spoilers here, you were the ruler of the galaxy, where would we take it from there?
Multiverse.
In Get Out of Hell, well, we went to hell, but there truly isn't anywhere to go past there. He continued, even though we love the mechanics we came up with, the superpowers and everything, it didn't leave us a lot of runway to figure out where we would go past that. So it was a pretty easy decision to go back to our roots with something contemporary. While a full list of changes made the game setting has yet to be either officially released or unofficially compiled by fans, given that the game is far off from its 2022 release date, some players have already begun to notice a number of changes that have been made to the identity of the Saints Row universe. For example, get this. As noted by Twitter user Living Scribe, the reboot has already been seen to change the names of 2 in-game establishments as, quote, they change rim jobs in automobile repair shop to Jim Robs. And please forgive me for saying this. Freckle Bitches, a fast food eatery, to FBS.
Boo.
Yeah, so now it's Jim Robs and FBS now. Wow. As for fans who don't agree with the new direction Volition has taken to antagonizing them on social media, for what purpose? As seen in the August 26th interaction between the game's official account and a disappointed player, quote, I know you won't listen, but if you want fans to stop complaining and giving you all crap, maybe, just maybe, replace these clowns and give us the real Saints. Doesn't even have to be the old crew, just real gangsters, said Twitter user Gavinator6429 in response to the premiere of the
real gangster trailer of you, Gavinator.
And subsequent backlash it received. Quote, they would honestly clear up a lot of the hate you guys are getting. So in reply,
no, it won't.
In reply, the Saints Row account simply tweeted a GIF of Saints Row player character dancing in front of an explosion as the words "haters gonna hate" slowly appear at the top of the image.
Bravo. Well done. Well done.
Well done. Well, it's a shame that we now live in such time that now all these politically correct people are like the they're like the Christians that they hated over 20 years ago.
You mean the pearl clutchers?
Yeah, the pearl clutchers. These are the people that hated the Christians from 25 years ago, telling them, oh, you shouldn't put this in kids shows, blah 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 blah. Now they're those people. That's interesting, huh? How strange. Let's put it this way.
Move in cycles.
Either you die a hero or you live long enough to be the villain. And now they are the villain.
I feel like you took that from something.
No, I came up with it on the spot.
That's so wow.
That's brilliance.
You should write greeting cards.
That's my brilliance. That's why when I was with Kai today, I told him that's why it was so important that he hang with me, because he can get a shine of all the brilliance. So he knows.
Shine of all the brilliance.
Yeah, he knows now.
Is that what you call?
Yeah, Kai knows what I'm talking about now.
No,
so when the sun hits your bald head from a certain angle, that's the shine of the brilliance.
100%. Now,
Nice. I like it.
I did want to. That's pretty much it for as far as news goes. I did want to let you guys know, number one, that there is a brand new trailer for No Time to Die. So if you're into James Bond, a brand new final trailer has been released on social media.
James
I played
Bond,
here.
Maybe set aside some time to die.
Yeah, I played here, but it seems like I always get hit by the copyright thing. So, or not the copyright, but they always tell me don't do that. So I'm not gonna play trailers anymore.
The thing that I thought was odd was the beginning of the special preview that we got for Shang-Chi. We got trailers.
We did, and we weren't supposed to. And let me tell you something. I will say, I'm going to say something that most will not understand until they see it. The Eternals trailer on your computer does not do it justice.
Oh, for sure. Like, it's got to be seen on the big screen. There's so much going on.
That Eternals trailer on the big screen impressed me so much that I want to see it in the movie theater now.
Like the trailer that should have been the first trailer.
Yep. Yeah, the trailer that should have been the first trailer
should be seen in the big screen.
Yeah, I completely agree. So that was very impressive. Number two, I wanted to say that I had the opportunity to watch a fantastic documentary called Happy Accidents on Netflix about Bob Ross. He falls under the pop culture nerd category for sure. Even if you don't know who Bob Ross is, if you have Netflix, look for it. It's called Bob Ross Happy Accidents. It is a tremendous documentary. I highly recommend it.
Definitely pop culture. I mean, he's got a Funko Pop.
I will say this without ruining the documentary. If you like Bob Ross, you may want to stay away from anything with his likeness on it. And I will just leave it at that. Secondly, for those of you that don't know, Netflix has also signed a deal to bring a fourth and final season of NBC's Manifest to its Netflix platform. So that is also happening. Manifest, there was a lot of outcry for Manifest. If I may, when a plane mysteriously lands years after takeoff, the people on board return to a world that has moved on without them and face strange, new realities. So
I thought it was like a show about, all right, we got these shipping containers, and this is what's on them.
I will also
shipping container one.
I also want
barbecue grills and.
I also want to give very high praise to another Netflix series. And if Gannon and Alika were here, they would probably tell you the same. If you are into strange, if you are into good story, Brand New Cherry Flavor is a tremendous series on Netflix as we speak. It is not for everyone. It's not for the faint of heart either. It is I'm going to tell you something. If you like strange, this is the way to go. Brand New Cherry Flavor is out on the Netflix series and should be watched for those that like something strange and unique. Very good stuff. Highly recommend that as well. So do yourself a favor and check that out if you have the guts. Is that too much? Maybe.
No, that was perfect.
That wasn't good. Okay. By the way, also something that I didn't get a chance to see, but as we know, as we wait for the second season of The Witcher to begin at the end of this year, the new Witcher anime has been released on Netflix as well. So if you are interested in seeing that is also currently available now. I believe it's called, what's it called? It's called The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf.
Wolves.
Yeah, Nightmare of the Wolf, singular. Check it out. If you like The Witcher, if you like the Witcher series, if you like the Witcher video game, you may want to check it out. I think that if Netflix does this right, I think Netflix has a property here that could keep the Netflix brand very happy, because The Witcher is a very cool brand. And I think if they do it right,
they could, take this all kinds of places.
Absolutely, 100%. And let me tell you something. I've only watched a little bit of The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf, but the animation in this thing, stellar. So it's very well done. It's a little stiff per se, but it's not the typical anime that I don't like. So it's very good. So check it out, and the story is actually pretty good so far as well. So if you are in the market for something different as well, and you want something that's anime, check that out. Nightmare of the Wolf, The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf is now currently available. All right. Well, gents, I think that about does it. There is no other entertainment news.
One more.
Oh, there is. There is. What did I miss?
The Apple and Epic Games.
Oh, thanks. See, look at you. That's why I told you to remind me. One last one.
Also, there's the modders who are being hired by CD Projekt Red.
Yeah. I saw that as well. Well, here's the thing. Where is it?
I sent it to you in the group chat.
Okay, great. Well, I think this is it. Oh, you did send it to me in the group chat. Let me see.
Oh no. Check the wait.
Check the NERDWatch.
The Instagram. Yours.
Got it. My Instagram? Oh, there it is. All right, I'm gonna have to read this on my phone. I hope you don't mind. Last piece of gaming news that I thought was very interesting. Is this it?
I didn't know where you got it from, so I went and got it from the first site that I can find it on.
South Korea's National Assembly passed a bill today challenging Apple and Google's current App Store policies, with implications potentially impacting both companies on a global scale. As spotted first by the Wall Street Journal, the law is an amendment to South Korea's Telecommunications Business Act. The new piece of legislation prevents major platforms like Apple and Google from banning app developers from using built-in payment systems, meaning Apple developers have the freedom to use their own payment systems. That was the big fight that they had with Apple about because of commissions that they would take. The new law also forbids store owners from reprimanding developers that use alternative payment systems that the ones available on their App Store front. Failure to comply with the new law will result in fines of up to 3% of a mobile app store owner's revenue in the country. While this legislation only impacts South Korea, the legislation could have a massive impact on the tech giants across the globe. Both tech giants have been subject to criticism for their app store policies, with countries looking to crack down on both. Earlier this month, the U.S. Senate introduced the Open Apps Market Act, which would also allow developers to use their own payment systems if passed and signed into law. Apple and Google have also been subjected to various lawsuits here in the United States. Last year, as you know, Fortnite developer Epic Games filed a lawsuit that challenged the App Store policies. The case Epic Games versus Apple was argued last May, with a federal judge currently reviewing the case, with the ruling anticipated to come by the end of the year. So if that's the case, we may see we may see Fortnite on the Apple Store sooner than we think. So that's very, very interesting. It's interesting how that would affect a South Korea ruling would affect the rest of the globe, but I'm guessing that's nothing new. Anyway,
yeah, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
It seems like a common play.
Yes, sir.
Amongst this type of thing, especially the developers, and then dealing with China, like in general, that seems to be a thing that's regularly being dealt with. So I'm not surprised, really.
First of all, it's China. Okay.
Can we get F's in the chat for OnlyFans? Because I don't think they're going to be around much longer if that whole MasterCard thing is true.
Oh well, here's
no.
I don't know if you knew about this Phormat, but it looks like that OnlyFans is now reneging on that decision. They are now going to allow adult content on their platform because of the backlash. So
yeah, smart on their part.
It wasn't really like the backlash came because the verification process, like they wanted MasterCard wouldn't approve payment
to OnlyFans, right?
Right. If like the actors in these streaming videos or whatever were not verified, and so
right,
yeah, so they started taking down a bunch of videos because they're just some random video from some dude's collection, but you don't know where those videos originated from. They could have been kiddie porn or whatever. So that's like, I get it, But at the same time, like there's a lot of stuff that aren't going to be on the site because of it. So
Well, now that I know, just to let you know, now that I know that this is the case with OnlyFans bringing back that stuff, I just want everybody to know that my OnlyFans page, Fat Streets Back, all right, is now back up. You can also put in the special promo code for a discount for your first month subscription. It's Pork Fat Rules. Okay, so Pork Fat Rules.
Yeah.
All right. That's right. And so check it out.
That's like O'Doyle rules.
Yeah. So that's onlyfans.com/Fat Streets Back. All right. G Money. More than you ever wanted to see. Anyway.
God.
Yeah, bet. Hey man, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you make your money the way you make your money.
Hey.
I mean,
you understand.
I got one. I mean, you kind of have to have one in order to support your friends on the platform. Like you can't like just lurk like some sicko who plays with puppets.
I gotta pay for Kai's gas somehow.
Right. So yeah, I got one so I can support my friends. Like,
nice.
I get to support my friends and see the insides of their privates. So win-win for everybody.
Win,
so really,
win. Well, let's be fair. It's not a win-win because there's more than two. It's win, win, win. 3. So.
Oh. Wow. I stand corrected.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, let's get into what's coming out this week for hard media, shall we? First off, if you are looking for a couple of classics, there isn't too much, but a couple of good classics on Blu-ray today. The Raven from 1963, starring Vincent Price and Peter Lorre, is out on Blu-ray today. Love that movie.
Sounds fun. I don't think I've seen that.
Also on Blu-ray today is Lupin the Third Part 3, The Pink Jacket Adventures. Yes, if you're interested,
that's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's out on Blu-ray today as well. Also, some more anime for y'all of the Vinland Saga Complete Collection.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Is that the tentacle? Anime?
It's Vikings.
Oh,
Vikings
First
and
of all,
tentacles.
Whoa, Japanese Vikings? What?
No, just Vikings.
That's appropriating Scandinavian culture, pal.
Yeah, well, noodles are noodles.
Noodles are fair enough. Also on Blu-ray today is Kenshi, the Mightiest something or another.
The Mightiest Disciple.
The Mightiest Disciple. Thanks for that. It just said DIS. Sorry. Also on Blu-ray
Also
today for all you anime fans, Fate Stay Night, Heaven's Feel.
Yeah.
That's such a great story. That's such a great series. If
Can I
you're
just
into
say-
combat anime, that one's great.
Can I say that's an incredibly confusing name for a show?
Oh, believe me, the show is confusing.
Fair enough. Also on Blu-ray today, something from the late 70s, early 80s, Future Robot Daltonius is out on Blu-ray today. Oh, by the way, if you're interested, Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel 3, I guess it's a companion piece for that show, is out on Blu-ray today as well.
Nice.
Also, another one out on Blu-ray today is Kakushigoto. The complete season is on Blu-ray today.
Yep.
My Dad's Secret Ambition.
Wink.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. Also on Blu-ray today is Spirit Untamed. If you remember that movie Spirit about the horse, this is like a kind of like a pseudo sequel.
I was still thinking in anime, and I'm like,
No.
Spirit Untamed. What anime is this?
No, that's definitely not
There's a
it.
lot this week. That's why.
Definitely not it. Also on Blu-ray today, I don't know if it's a direct sequel or not, but the animated film Mortal Kombat Legends.
Yeah, it is.
Battle of the Realms is on Blu-ray today.
It's right after the whole the
Scorpion's
one.
Revenge.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll check it out then. That does look cool. I'm down for that. All right. Also on Blu-ray today, if you are interested, can I say that this is the film that Aron has watched 7 times? 7 times intentionally. In the Heights is out on Blu-ray and 4K today. So if you're interested, In
the Lin-Manuel Miranda West Side Story.
That is correct, sir. That is correct. Also on Blu-ray today.
Aron, is it good? I mean, it must be if you've seen it 7 times.
7 times. Also on
Have
Blu-ray
you seen
today.
it, G?
Yes, I have.
Is it good?
How many times have you seen it?
No. I haven't. It's not that great.
I'll wait for it to come on anime.
Yeah, wait for it on the anime. Also on Blu-ray today from 1971, a very much a cult classic from Arrow. If you've never seen it before and you like cult classics, The Brotherhood of Satan is on Blu-ray today. It's actually kind of a
classic.
Yeah, it's a cult classic. Also on Blu-ray today, and is a film from 1976 starring Scott Baio and Jodie Foster. Most of you remember this as children. Remember Bugsy Malone? Well, they finally put it out on Blu-ray, so you can check it out. It's the one where it's a gangster film, but it stars all kids. It is one of the weird.
Remember this?
It's one of the weirdest gangster movies ever, and they instead of adults, they're all kids, and the movie's rated G. It's the weirdest, and they don't shoot guns. What they shoot is like whipped cream out of like cannons. It is the weirdest movie ever. And you should watch it. It's that unique. And certainly last but not least, one of the best releases of the week is Arrow Video putting out a limited deluxe edition of Dune in 4K, getting prepared for the all new Dune coming out in October.
Nice.
This is the original Dune, starring Kyle MacLachlan. And also this is
the terrible one.
No, shut your mouth. I will say that it is, because it is official, this is missing the television cut that David Lynch despises, and it also is missing the cut that was cut for like 5 or 6 hours. That cut is also not in here, but there are extended scenes and deleted scenes on this Blu-ray as well. This Blu-ray is packed with extra features. It's on 4K. And then if there's any movie that deserves it, Dune is probably one of them. So I am looking forward to that film on Blu-ray 4K this week.
Oh, I should probably clarify. It's terrible if you've read the book.
Yes, no, that's a fair assessment, because I tell you what, there's a great production of Dune on audiobook that you can pick up. It's like $26, and it's very well done. Different actors do it and things like that. It's actually pretty good, so you can check it out. The book is good, for sure. Daniel Plago says the Brotherhood of Satan is great. Thank you, Daniel. It is great.
See, puppets. Telling you,
it's
man.
Awesome. By the way, Aaron says I can vouch for it. Best OnlyFans page out there. No one has content like G. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Aron. You're the man. Fat Street's back.
What's up with the outlet emoji? What's it?
Well, that's because it's so surprising what you see on there. Aron says he's going on his 8th watch of In the Heights this weekend.
Dude,
and he says
if
it's
you just
so
need a place
good.
to like throw money, like I'm like right here.
He says it's so good. All right, fair enough, Aron.
Just throwing your money away. I mean,
yeah. Aron wanted to come on the show tonight to talk about Shang-Chi, but he said that he had better things to do. So,
wow.
Yeah, exactly.
You're losing members.
But I do appreciate the love on that, Aron. Thank you very much. Anyway, we are out of time, boys and girls.
Was the better thing to do your OnlyFans page?
To peruse my OnlyFans?
Wow.
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty. You should check it out. Yeah.
For Aron to give up his seat on the podcast for
OnlyFans.com/FatStreetsBack. All right. You're not going to want to miss it.
Is that all one word, or is there
all
like an underscore somewhere?
No underscores. None of that. I was going to put an underscore under right before back and all right, but I thought that's too much. I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah. You haven't seen content like this. All right.
I bet.
All right. Anyway, we're out of time, boys and girls. Have a wonderful week. Do yourself a favor this weekend. Go watch Shang-Chi. Okay. You're not going to regret it. Number 2, there will be an interview that I will be posting of hopefully of Destin Daniel Cretton and what he thinks. And he's going to talk to me because just remember, he and I like this. We're like, we're
flipping us off.
Brothers. We're tight, yo. We're tight.
This interview is this like one of those quick fire interviews where you get to ask him like only 2 questions and then he has to move on, or
no? It's one of those things where
this one you're gonna do a deep dive for like half an hour.
Well, I've already got a couple questions. If you were a bird, what would you be? And if you were a hamburger topping, what would you choose?
Right.
So we're gonna get to know Destin in depth.
Well done.
Yeah,
nicely scouted.
I think other people ask stupid questions like, "How did you do this movie? Was it, I mean, what kind of preparation went into it?" That's baloney. Every interviewer does that stuff. Me, I'm thinking right here.
Make sure to ask him the hot dog thing.
Yeah.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Is a hot dog? That's a good one. All right. Maybe I'll add that to my list of amazing questions.
I mean, if you can squeeze it in, I mean, you've got great questions already.
Can you squeeze a hot dog into a bun format?
That's getting a little too weird.
Technically, I can.
Okay, good. All right. Sounds good because you and I agree then. All right. We'll debate about whether or not it's a sandwich at a later date. I'm going to ask Destin that what he thinks. All right.
Well. I mean, my answer is it's a taco, but that's neither here nor there.
I agree with Phormat. It's a taco.
All right. Fair enough. All right. It's a hot dog sandwich. Fair enough. It's coming up. Joel says, mad tight, yo.
Well done, Joel.
No, was that sexual? No, it was not.
Thank you for bringing that back. That's
Aron says, if you want to know that answer, just subscribe to G's OnlyFans. Word to your mother, Aron. To your mother.
I'm gonna go talk to his mother now.
Yeah.
Be like, did you hear what G said?
Daniel Plagal agrees. Hot dog may be a taco.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe. No.
Oh,
that's confirmed.
Oh, it's confirmed. Okay, fair enough. You got confirmation on that. All right. We are out of time, boys and girls. Have a wonderful week. Go watch Shang-Chi. Look out for that interview with Destin Daniel Cretton. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for you guys.
Can't wait to see him stand up and walk out on the interview.
Yeah.
Can't wait. He's going to love it when I promote OnlyFans.
So tight.
My OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/back.
When you walk up to him and go, hey, Tabasco or Sriracha?
Fair enough. All right, boys and girls. So for my partners, Phormat,
for
birthday boy, producer, seducer, Kai, I am G Money. Peace out. Much love, and most assuredly, always stay nerdy. We'll see you back here next week on the NERDWatch. Aloha.
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Dear God.